вам знайомство із Надією П'яткою, успішним підприємцем, яка розбудувала свій бізнес Надя Foods, не маючи ніякого стартового капіталу. Про унікальну історію початків бізнесу Наді розповідала Опра Вінфрі на своїй програмі. Сьогодні Надя наш гість.
Nadia, on behalf of Ukrainian community, we would like to welcome you in Toronto in this beautiful Ukrainian care center. Isn't this a beautiful place?
I love it. My mother is in this home and she is very happy to be here. They take such great care of the members. It's wonderful.
This is my first time being here and I already love it. Like, it's so serene, so peaceful.
Yeah.
Nadia, you know that your story was featured on Oprah, so you made it, girl, as Oprah would say.
Yeah.
What's the secret of your success?
Well, you know, I think I don't know if there's a secret. I think it's just sometimes I find in my situation, life sometimes puts us on a path that we didn't plan for. And in my case, I was, married for 20 years with 2 kids. And, one day my husband came home and said he met someone else and he was leaving. And I had been, not focused on my career. I was a teacher when I, was younger from school and had been out of that. So I needed to find work. My husband and I went through a financial crash, the house and everything was leans against it.
Let's say you just put your talents towards raising your kids, right?
Yes,
exactly.
Exactly, and helping in the dental office, but I really wasn't focused on myself and found that when I needed to go find a job, I couldn't find work because I wasn't qualified in any way, and I realized the only person who was going to hire me was me. So that's how I got into my own business. So what put me was adversity and surviving. And how do you survive when life throws challenges at you? And for me, it was. I love to bake. I mean, I always, that was my favorite thing to do. So, and I thought I loved healthier food. I loved food because when I was very young, I had a weight problem. And so I learned how to create food that was slimmed down, that had less calories, less fat, all, clean labels, without junk in it, whatever. And so I started to bake that in my kitchen and sell to to coffee shops and started to grow my business like that. So I literally started, from the bottom, and I had no money. I had bill collectors coming to my door. We owed a lot of money. I lost my house, and so there was no opportunity to go to the bank to get a loan to start a business. So I made another. I took what I was given and made the best of it.
Your Ukrainian connection with cooking, was there a grandmother or mother who taught you how to bake and cook, or did you just have this interest by yourself?
My parents, they came from Ukraine and they settled in St. Catharines and in Toronto, and they opened a restaurant on the Queensway in Toronto, and we lived above. And so I thought, all children put an apron on when they come home from school. That was normal, like this is what you do. You help in the family business, and I loved baking and I loved cooking, and I had 2 sisters and they didn't like to help. They were not interested, and so my mother always said that I had a connection with food, and I did. I loved food, I loved everything about it, and so when I needed to find a job, I went back to what I loved, and that was food and cooking and baking and sweets.
So what's your favorite recipe in Ukrainian cuisine?
Oh my gosh, I love the poppy seed makivnik. My mother would make that. That was my favorite Ukrainian dessert. Yes, I love poppy seeds. Yeah.
So speaking of poppy seeds, I brought you some homemade kutia
I love
try.
that. Yes.
I would like to know what you think.
Well, moja mama любила ще цей вечір. Ми мали кучу, and it was always the start
By
of
the
the
way,
meal.
this is also low fat because I'm always trying to cut out sugar and sweets, so I think you would like
Perfect.
that.
Let me try. Very nice. Just like my mother. I
Really?
love it. Yeah, I love it.
I'm
And
glad.
it is lighter. I can
Yes,
tell.
it is.
Lighter.
It is. Yes. Well,
Yes.
There is honey, no sugar there, but not
Yes,
so much honey.
not
as well.
so much. And I actually
the
I like
walnuts
it.
make it sweet too, right? Because
was-
walnut
yes.
is sweet.
Exactly, exactly. No, this is lovely.
How
This
do
is
you
lovely.
make kucha?
Well, I have to admit, my mother was the only one who made it, and so on Ukrainian, we'll make the easier things, but I haven't ventured that, so maybe now I will.
This is the easiest.
I know,
This is
I know,
the easiest.
I know.
Yes.
Cheers. Дуже добре,
Bon appetit.
дуже добре.
Дякую. On February 13th, there will be a Valentine's extravaganza tea at Trident Banquet Hall on 145 Evans Avenue, and you will be the guest of honor there. The event is organized by Canadian Ukrainian Care Center as a fundraising event. So what will you be baking or cooking there?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I am going to be telling my story, and there's more than we have time for, so I hope people will come and hear, how I, built my business up. My $100 investment, I had no money. I had bill collectors at the door and built my business, and I'd love to share that story because many years when I went through my story, I was ashamed to tell that story because I felt, well, I have bill collectors, honey, I'm struggling, I'm divorced, all those things that were so negative. But then I found that by sharing my story, I was helping other people follow their dreams. So I'm going to, have that candid moments with the audience, and I'm also going to do a cooking demonstration on one dessert. So we're going to do that. We're going to hand out the recipe, and everyone's going to have a chance to taste it.